On this episode, we are joined by our friend and special guest for a Bars and Lounges March Madness Bracket Challenge, where 32 teams will go against each other to see who becomes the champion. Today is March 31st, 2023, and this is episode 552 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And if you are planning that trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, we know that the dining reservations can be quite overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. You can visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
Okay, so today we are talking Bars and Lounges Bracket Challenge, and I actually know who the special guest is today because Jeremy slipped up and told me this morning, and when he did, I was like, oh, really? I was so excited. So my good friend Lucie Cantrell
Mine.
actually your sister.
Yeah, much more like a
Your
sister.
sister,
Like a sister.
my good friend,
Yes.
my sister-in-law, Lucie Cantrell.
Everyone's so confused.
I know.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. If everybody knows Lucie, they've heard us talk about her. Welcome to the show, Lucie.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I'm actually very excited because my husband, Caleb, is jealous that I get to record with you all, and that is fitting punishment because he is currently at Walt Disney World without me. So,
And he
Yes.
has been messaging me photos from every single location.
Oh, has he really?
Mostly bars and lounges. So I feel like it's very fitting.
Yes.
He's out there
That's
doing
funny.
the actual in-park research, and I'm sure feeding the information back to you. But Lucie's such a great guest for this because you know all of these spots. You've probably, I don't know if you've been to all 32 that we've lined up, but my guess is a
She
very large majority of them. And we needed a tiebreaker, so we're so excited to have you on. You know, you're much better than flipping a coin. I will tell you that much.
Absolutely.
So
This will be fun.
this is going to be really exciting.
And back to me saying Jeremy's sister. Jeremy has a brother, no other siblings, and him and Lucie have become so close that they are so like brother sister, and I love it. And so that's where I love that she's my good friend and like a sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So.
When I moved down to Florida, I learned very quickly that you don't exactly know who's mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister.
Correct.
By blood, because Floridians and Southerners call everybody those.
Yep.
I thought Rhonda had two brothers for several years.
Yeah.
Like legitimate blood brothers, and then found out no, it was just her actual brother's best friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then everywhere we went, she just, as soon as she walks into a place, hey mom, hey dad, what's up? And I'm just like, wait, I'm so confused. So that's where all of that comes from, but
Yep.
I love it. So let me,
I get
let
it.
me-
I have
Yeah.
a lot of non-biological aunts and uncles.
Oh, yeah.
See?
that's the other thing. Everybody's aunt this and uncle that. I love it because it is. We're all one big happy family here. But so the way that this is set up for the bracket challenge, and I do love that I asked Lucie, did she want to see it ahead of time? She said no. I'll be honest, Rhonda has not seen it.
Nope.
I worked on this, and we have 32, air quote teams. And
Now,
the way-
did you do this or did you pull it from something? Because usually you...
Yeah, so this is technically all me with a little help from my friends at Touring Plans. And
Okay.
so when you go out to Touring Plans, and this is, we recommend touringplans.com, very, very much as far as their Lines app, as far as research, room requests, things like that. Highly suggest you subscribe to Touring Plans. So when you can actually go into their dining area of their webpage, and you can sort by table service, you can sort by quick service, and you can sort by bars and lounges. When you sort, it has a user rating from all the data that they've collected, giving them a percentage of, excellent all the way down to poor. So I took those percentages, put them in order from highest to lowest, and then I looked at the top 32. Now, one of the things that I excluded was straight up kind of pool bars. So, for example, something like Pedal's Pool Bar over at Pop Century actually has a pretty high rating, and it fell into the top 32. But something else I wanted to take into account is to have a little bit more maybe of a substantial food, and again, not be a standard pool bar. So as we get into these, you'll find, for example, there's not a Pedals Pool Bar, but there is a Banana Cabana on the list, which, takes you above the standard pool bar with 6 chairs.
Yep.
There's actual lounge area. So that was kind of the way it broke down. Once I excluded some of those, I actually took the top 32. I put them in order. I then created the, 4 number 1 seeds, 4 number 2s, all the way through number 8. And then paired in each region, the number 1 seed versus, example, the very last 8 seed. So I lined it up the way you would in March Madness, went through each bracket for each of the 4 regions, right? So this is all going to come down.
That's a lot of just stuff that I don't think anybody cares about.
Fun.
But I guess I did ask. Sorry.
Well, I want people to understand that.
This is why we're like siblings, Jeremy, because I think that that's awesome.
Right? Isn't it so good? It's so fun.
You did a great job.
Well, and I want people to understand where the seedings come from, because as much fun as this is, I totally get where some people will go, how on earth was this bar at this seed? And Rhonda and I talked a lot about on the episode last week when we did the attraction challenges. There's kind of this eye test, and they do the same thing for the NCAA tournament. They say, all right, this team had X number of wins against top 25. This team had X number of wins against maybe a power conference. So you want to take all that data and try and have it make sense. While some of our votes may come down to some personal preference, I didn't want the actual seeding to come down to our personal preference or mine, because I wouldn't have probably seeded some of these the way they are, but I think it's a very fair seeding.
Okay, that makes sense.
So to kick off first, before we get into it, and we want to ask you, Lucie, and we'll each talk about it, what are the different, I guess, items on your checklist that make a great bar or lounge at Walt Disney World?
I think theming for me is big.
Yep.
And that can be within the context of a park, within the context of a resort. Just some of the bars and lounges I like the best are the ones that are themed around wherever they are. I love a good solid menu selection. I like things that are a little more inventive and not necessarily what you get in parks.
Mm-hmm.
I am a lot of times a beer drinker or just a like vodka soda drinker when we are kind of at Disney World, but I do love a good craft cocktail.
Yeah.
So having at least something signature that I can kind of go back to, and I guarantee one of the bars we're going to talk about has my favorite cocktail on property, and that's one of the reasons I love going back there.
Nice.
So just having like one kind of signature thing that I know I enjoy drinking, that is a little bit special and you maybe can't get anywhere else on property, it's appealing to me.
Yeah. One of the things I love about the Drinking at Disney book that our friend Daniel Miller was a part of is that they show you which locations have certain standard menus, because there are certain menus, especially when it comes to beer, wine, cocktails even, that some bars have repeat menus of everywhere else. So yeah, when you can find those places, I think with specialty cocktails that are unique to that exact location is really good. I agree with everything you say. Is there anything you would add as far as it goes?
So I kind of agree completely, because I'm that first, like, I'll take a cocktail and my first one, but then if like I can't do too many sweet things, so I like that where you get a good craft cocktail the first one and then I'll move on. That makes a great one, and this makes a great one for me.
Yeah.
Good food, and of course great cast members.
Yeah.
So I think that will make a great bar and lounge for me.
Yeah. I agree. If you add service to it, and
that's
I have
part
a
of the
feeling,
cast members.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's going to be possibly one place in particular that all three of us absolutely adore, and we can talk about that when we get to it. It actually has a very well-seated area, but it's in a very tough bracket. So, are y'all ready just to get into it, and we'll start running through?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to start in our first region, and I will post out the bracket. I did to Twitter today on Thursday, but on Friday when the episode comes out, I'll post it to other areas so that you can either follow along and you can fill out your own. But in the top left bracket, we're going to go with number 1, the overall number 1 seed, Baseline Tap House, versus the number 8 seed, Siesta's Cantina, which is located over at Coronado Springs at the Dig Site Pool. Not your standard pool bar. And
Yeah.
I think what we'll do, why don't we go through each of these? Rhonda and I will give our pick first, just in case the tiebreaker is necessary. Then Lucie's making the tiebreaker. Between Baseline and Siestas, Rhonda, which one are you picking?
Baseline.
You're picking Baseline
Oh, yeah.
straight up.
Straight up.
Okay. I will challenge you slightly, and we will have our first tiebreaker. I'm actually going to go with Siesta's Cantina.
Why?
I'm going to base it on location, as Lucie mentioned earlier, theming. The food
I'm sure
menu,
it's in
there's a more substantial food menu. There are some inventive drinks there. I love Baseline.
Okay,
a
Mike's
lot.
not there.
No, Mike is not there.
Wow, if he ever listens,
I'm
you're out.
I'm shocked, as Lucie was, that Baseline had the number 1 overall seed, but it was the highest rated bar and lounge on property
I love Baseline.
based on users.
I love Baseline. I would pick Baseline over Siestas.
And that's
I'm
fair.
shocked that it's the number 1 overall seed.
I am too.
Oh, so she just was
But
like,
okay.
we're moving on.
Yeah.
Moves on. Okay.
Here's the thing. I had a very good feeling you both would pick Baseline, so it felt fun to go the opposite direction and pick a Cinderella seed. The number, technically the 32nd overall seeded one, was in Siesta's Cantina. All right, next we're going to move down. I don't even have to ask Rhonda, but number 4, Gurgling Suitcase over at Old Key West versus number 5, Tuta Gusto.
Oh, Tuta Gusto.
I knew you were going that way.
Tuta Gusto.
I will agree with Tuta Gusto. I do love Gurgling Suitcase. We have limited interactions there.
Good memories.
But very good ones.
Remember when it was pouring rain and you were so mad?
It doesn't sound like me at all.
He was so mad.
Was that same birthday weekend
Yeah.
trip where it started with me dumping the cooler on the pavement and
Yeah.
breaking open all the
Not
root
all.
beer? Well, a lot of the. It was when the
Yeah.
what was it? Father's root beer, hard root beer first came to light.
Not Father's root beer.
Yeah, not your father's root beer. That's what it was. And I dumped the entire cooler getting into our room on my birthday weekend. And then we got into our room and the AC was broke and it just smelled like
Awful.
must.
It was awful.
And then we had to move everything to a 3rd floor.
And then we
which
had to wait
does not
on
have
our
elevators.
No. And then we had to wait on our luggage and we didn't have our bathing suits. And he's like, let's go to the pool. Our luggage gets there. We put our bathing suits
are on.
and we start to walk out the door and
Boom.
thunder cracks. And we were like, and the pool's closed.
Yeah. I woke up the next morning though and I was like, you know what? Reset. Let's do this whole thing again.
The girls, we had a great time.
We had a wonderful time.
And then finally, when the girls were settling down, Jeremy and I went over to Gargling Suitcase and we had a drink and I was kind of like, dude, you got to turn your attitude around. Like, this is awful.
And I did. And you know what
And
helped?
he did.
What helped over there though is they have pulled pork nachos that I believe rival the ones over at Captain Cook's. They are delicious there at Gurgling Suitcase. But I know for you, the atmosphere, the spaghetti and meatballs,
Oh, the spaghetti and meatballs.
and the Marco are the
No,
reason that
I
Tuta
mean,
Gusto is high on your
the
list.
last time, okay.
So
I haven't seen him in like 3 years because I don't drink wine anymore.
that's true. All right, Lucie, which are you going with? Tuta Gusto is going to take the win, but have you done Gurgling Suitcase?
I have. We remember you, me, and Caleb went and got a drink there.
That's
that
right.
Time you guys did Old Key West.
That's right. And then we sat out by the pool.
And it was fine. I would pick Tuta Gusto. Gurgling Suitcase is so small.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my only downside.
I
love
agree.
that it's in the resort and the atmosphere is great. It's just very, very
It's very small.
So Tuta Gusto.
Okay, perfect. All right, next. I think this is the most interesting first round match. Actually, there's another really interesting one. But when we talk about theming, this is going to get very interesting because we have number 3, Abracadabra, versus number 6, Enchanted Rose.
Oh, wow.
That is a very interesting first round matchup based specifically on theming, I think. Rhonda? And I feel like we have found a love for Enchanted Rose lately.
I know. And I'm like, my Rose. Like, I'm like, I have to go with Enchanted Rose.
Okay.
But God, I have so many good memories for Abracadabra.
Yeah.
Like,
But you're picking
Lucy and
Enchanted.
I am only because of theming.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love Beauty and the Beast. Everybody knows it's tattooed on me. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason I'm picking it.
Okay. Then I'm going to make this fun, and I'm going to pick Abracadabra.
I know what Lucy's picking.
Yeah, I do love
I'm
love
losing.
Enchanted Rose. I really have. I'd like to go, and we're usually there prior to the 5 p.m. Appetizers, but we've had plenty there. They have really good truffle fries. We sat in the library one time, a group about 6 of us, I
that
think,
was cool.
and had a wonderful time. But I think overall it's just so unique, and it has this, I don't know, it has this feel. Only thing I wish is that they had some sort of entertainment value to it, where they had like.
Do they have food though?
Yeah, you can. The food comes from the same kitchen as Flying Fish.
That's right. Because
Yep.
That's right. I do now.
And they've got you. I mean, see, this is hard when you talk about inventive cocktails, Lucy. Earlier, man, both of these places have a ton that are so well themed. So we've got Rhonda with Enchanted. We've got me with Abracadabra. You are the tiebreaker yet again. It is all up to you. And I will share Lucy's email for anyone who does not agree with these picks, and they can hit her up personally. But
she has good stories. Let her talk.
oh, she has amazing stories.
Rhonda is smirking at me because she knows. First of all, you're making me feel guilty because I also have Beauty tattooed on me, and I am not picking Enchanted Rose.
Yeah.
I know. I know. But tell the reasons why, because you have amazing reasons.
Well, when I was saying earlier that my favorite cocktail on property is the Pepper's Ghost at Abracadabra.
Yes.
It is hands down, it's bar none. It's habanero vodka. It's pineapple syrup. It's phenomenal. I have to get one every time we walk by. Usually I have my husband not let me get another one, but they are strong and delicious. And I like the food at Abracadabra. It's simple, but it's good. They have a margarita flatbread. They have a really kind of inventive charcuterie. They also have truffle fries, and I think the theming is just fantastic. And yeah, we are big Swan Dolphin people, so that tends to be our kind of. We're done at Epcot, and that's where we're going to end.
Soccer there.
We've watched soccer there.
Yeah.
We watched Serena's last match there. Together,
that's right.
Rhonda.
Yes.
So yeah, and shout out to my man Skip that works at Abracadabra.
Yes.
He's the best.
Yeah, and like for this one, I think, where would you want to end the night? Would you rather end the night stuck on the monorail?
I'd say
loop,
Abracadabra.
right?
I would. Absolutely.
I mean, Abracadabra is a good place to close out your evening.
Yeah.
Especially if you're staying anywhere on the boardwalk area. I mean, I think the boardwalk area
100%.
absolutely destroys the monorail resort area now.
I think Enchanted Rose only beat out Abracadabra by like just a very
I'd agree.
teeny tiny part for me.
That is a tough one.
And Enchanted Rose is a beautiful space. And
It
if you
is.
have not been there, I highly encourage you to go. It is expensive, which fits with the scenery. I mean, it is at the Grand Floridian. So when you go, you're getting that kind of experience. Caleb and I loved Meisner's. We were actually really sad when it closed. But Enchanted Rose is a beautiful addition to the property. It's a great park.
Yeah. And what I like is going throughout this, we all have our little one-off stories, and that was Meisner's Lounge. The only time we ever went was during that Christmas trip where, was it Kaylin was in the full head-to-toe onesie, Christmas onesie, and she had a Christmas Mickey hat on, and we all did.
I felt so
we felt so out of place walking into
I
Grand
felt like
Flow.
the Clampets.
Yeah, seriously. And that's
Driving
when
up
we
in
overlooked
there.
the fairy tale wedding with Cinderella's horse-drawn carriage
Yep.
and everything out the window. So
Yep.
all right, next is the surprisingly, I think, highly seated number 2 Victoria Falls Lounge over at Jumbo House in Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is a beautiful area. Verse, want to talk theming? Number 7, Oga's Cantina in Hollywood Studios. Rhonda?
Oga's.
I'm going to straight up say Oga's. All three. Lucy's shaking her head.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, our first real upset, I don't think it's that much of an upset. Victoria Falls is beautiful there, but I think one of the things we could have said earlier is what makes a great bar and lounge at Disney: accessibility.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Short of staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're not going to go there specifically to have a drink at Victoria falls, right?
That's true.
You're going
No.
to go to some of these other places, whether you're not staying there or not. You're going to go to an Abracadabra bar. You might even make your way to a gurgling suitcase. I just don't see it happening with Victoria. So my pin is running out. Let me get a new one. All right. So that is our first quadrant. We're moving up to the top right. This is another one that I think is an insane matchup for me personally. This is the second overall number 1 seed, and that is Nomad Lounge at Animal Kingdom. One of our absolute favorites, but it gets pitted up against number 8 Space 220 Lounge. So if you want to talk absolute opposite ends of any spectrum that has ever been, that is Nomad Lounge versus Space 220. I'll go first and pick a crazy upset, even though I love Nomad, and I will pick Space 220 Lounge. It kind of destroys my accessibility thing because it's not very easy to get into. But
neither is Nomad.
Nomad isn't either. You're right. I just think there is nothing like Space 220. And for the ability to experience all of that, whether you want to get the prefix menu or you want to get their own special lounge food, to go through that entire experience and sit up there, the service is unbelievable. We have so many memories from Nomad, but
no, we have so many.
I'm going to pick Space 220 Lounge. And I can just hear Justin Monorail specifically yelling at his speakers right now because he is a Nomad junkie.
Has he been to Space 220?
I don't know that he has.
Okay. I'm gonna pick Space 222.
You are?
I am.
Oh, wow.
It's so hard because part of me wants to and then part of me doesn't because it depends on the time of year. I feel like sometimes,
Yeah.
You give it today, I'd be at Nomad 100%. If you were
Agreed.
like, oh,
Weather
you can
today?
get into Space 220 or Nomad right now.
Yeah, this weather is perfect for
It
a
was
Nomad Lounge.
beautiful today. But unfortunately, with what we're kind of like, you're in Epcot, you go up and the whole thing, and then the food and the cosmic, like cosmopolitan and all the kind of
The pop
drinks.
rocks you can get.
Oh my gosh. I'm Lucy, what would you say? Just curious. I know we're not tied.
That's a really hard one.
Right?
I think based on accessibility, I would probably pick Nomad.
I
But
can agree with that.
love Space 220. I mean, it's I think up there for like top 5 most unique experiences on property.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of why it's unique is that it is not super accessible. So there's that. But yeah, I think I would probably pick Nomad.
Okay. All right. Well, unfortunately, Space 220 is going to move on, and that is our first major upset, taking down a 1 seed. We are going to next move on to number 4 seeded Dahlia Lounge, up at the top of Grand Destino Tower, versus number 5 Muddy Rivers over at Port Orleans Riverside. Again, technically a pool bar, but not a standard pool bar. There's lots of outdoor seating there. There's lots of bar space. They have the frozen Jack Daniels machine for the frozen Jack and Coke, which is actually pretty good over there. Some wonderful service. What are you picking?
Are you trying to sell this?
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, I'm picking Dahlia. I'm picking Dahlia in a heartbeat for their Spanish Bocadillo alone and the views sweeping
I
over
just
Epcot
started
and
to
Hollywood
say,
Studios.
yeah.
And I mean, if you guys don't know, it's at Coronado Springs. So, Rhonda.
I will pick that too because of the sheer fact, not that it's at Coronado, but because of the sheer fact of accessibility of as far as in, I mean, either one you could take a whatever to. You could if you're at Disney Springs, you could boat though to Port Orleans, but still it is easier to take a boat not a boat, a bus or a Uber or whatever. But if you're staying there,
Right.
But yeah, the views, the food, the drinks.
It's outstanding. I look forward to getting back there
members.
May 11th. We will finish our night off up at Dahlia, I'm sure, when we go back to Coronado for a night. Lucy, would you select Dahlia or Muddy Rivers?
I would pick Dahlia Lounge.
Okay. Yeah.
I honestly
That's a
think
sweep.
For pure like decor and physical space, I think Dahlia Lounge might be my favorite rooftop restaurant or spot on property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Top Lenos is beautiful. California Grill is beautiful. I have not been to Top of the World Lounge yet. But Dahlia Lounge is stunning.
It is.
Everything about the interior is beautiful, and the cocktails and the food are great too. But just the physical space is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah. And nobody worry, because Port Orleans in general is going to show up again. They're going to get their due. So they're coming back. Don't worry about that. All right. Next, we are going to move on to, I think, kind of surprising at a number 3 is Trader Sam's Grog Grotto.
That is surprising.
First,
maybe because there's no food.
No, there's food there.
Food there.
I'm actually shocked at where it fell. Versus number 6, Barcelona Lounge. My Coronado Springs homerness is not going to select Barcelona. I will go with Trader Sam's easily, based on, again, accessibility aside, easily based on theming, atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could put this, I think, along with the Space 220 and things like that, with best themed bars and lounges on property. Easy. What are you picking, Rhonda? Barcelona or Trader Sam's?
I'm going to pick Trader Sam's.
Trader Sam's?
I mean, the cocktails alone. You order a cocktail, and it depends on which cocktail you order. They're going to sing, they're going to dance, they're going to do something. Like, it's crazy.
Thoughts, Lucy?
Trader Sam's, easy. And when we talk about it next, I'll tell us my favorite Trader Sam's
story.
story.
Perfect. Awesome. Because it's going to have to go up. This is going to be fun, because it's going to have to go up verse. Fan favorite, and by fans, I mean the 3 of us. Number 2, Bar Riva, which I was so happy to see this far up and get a number 2 seed. Good for you guys. Versus number 7, Voyager's Lounge.
Okay, so that's the kind of library-ish space in the lobby at Riviera, right?
Correct. With, I guess, what is technically, although I believe it goes by a different name, is the attached kind of cafe, which does serve some different pastries, a charcuterie board, an espresso martini.
Ooh.
So, little fun fact. I don't know if you knew this. I think you did. It was a couple years ago. It was Kat's birthday when you headed back to the room early.
Yes.
We were staying at Art of Animation. Kat flew down last minute because we ended up with a suite at Art of Animation, and she came to stay with us. And Kat and Kaylin and I continued on to Riviera, and we're like, we're going to sit in the lounge and people watch. We saw the little cafe there, which is attached to that Voyager's Lounge, which looks like the library next door, and went up and ordered for each of us an espresso martini. And
not Kaylin,
Kat and I. And it was amazing. It would eventually come to our realization later that the person that served us that espresso martini was the one and only Ken, who is now at Bar Riva.
We love Ken.
Yes, and I remember a great interaction with him, and then one time went to Bar Riva, and I was just like, I know who this guy is. And after we chatted, he was like, oh, I used to be upstairs in the little cafe there. This is an interesting one that I think it shows up on the list, because it is much more of a space to sit as opposed to, I feel like, a place to get a drink, even though there is the attached cafe, which I'm pretty sure has a different name.
It's Le Petit Cafe.
There you go. So we'll do a combo of those two, and this did show up in bars and lounges as far as touring plans goes. Rhonda, Bar Riva versus Voyager's Lounge.
I'm going to say Bar Riva.
Well, that's an easy one. I'm going to say Bar Riva.
I've never been to Voyager's Lounge,
Let us ask your opinion, Lucy, because I have no idea which one you would select.
I'm going to go with Bar Riva.
What? Color me shocked. I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot more about Bar Riva, and I'll just say right now, next round is going to be fun because it's going to go against Trader Sam's. So we'll get to that soon. But our third overall number 1 seed, which I think was a little bit surprising, but not surprising because this place is incredible, is Scat Cats Club versus number 8, Cruise Cup Lounge.
Scat Cat.
Try that again. All right, Scat Cat for you.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree. Atmosphere, beignets, drinks, everything about that place is great. I think we've had a drink once in Cruise Cup.
Yeah.
I hear they have wonderful food and like burgers, but never had them. Have you been there, Lucy? And what would you pick, this or Scat Cats?
I think I would pick Scat Cats.
Okay.
It's hard to beat the atmosphere, live music, beignets, all of it. But we've been to Cruise Cup several times and sat at the bar there, especially because it's one of the few places on property that has a fairly good sports setup. They've got a couple different TVs. and our service has always been really great. And they do have you can order some of the things off the Yachtsman menu. And so the food is tasty, but yeah, I would pick Sky Cats.
Okay. I do want to have a burger at Cruise Cup though. All right. Number 2, California Grill Lounge versus number 7, Territory Lounge, which is over at Wilderness Lodge. We have not been there in some time, but we have sat in there. It's right next to Artist Point.
Oh, yeah.
We've eaten there. We've drank there. Are you picking California Grill Lounge or Territory Lounge?
California.
Are you?
You look over and see the castle.
Well, not from the lounge portion. You got to get up and walk. You're facing the other. You're facing the other side. Your back's facing the other side.
The bar. The
yeah,
bar.
Yeah.
You just got to turn your head all the way around. Like you just got to do this number.
I don't believe it's on the other side, and I could be wrong. You have to get up and walk to look out the windows. California
Grill.
Yes. I'm talking about the lounge only, not based on where you would be seated for a sit-down dinner.
I'm talking the bar.
Okay. All right. I don't believe. Do you know if you can? I don't think you can see the castle from the lounge. It's just that bar.
Everybody's
don't know that I have sat at the bar.
I'll tell you what. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm fairly sure that you cannot see the castle from the bar area. I'm gonna pick Territory
in front of all the.
It's okay.
Seats. We sat there with
Nate.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to look up.
I can
Google
see
Images then. Okay. All right. You were probably right. That was a long time ago, and my entire night was clouded because I ordered their potato pizza, which was an absolute awful decision on not only my part but their part. So I'm going to pick Territory Lounge because
okay, now it's Lucy.
I know. I absolutely love this theming at Territory Lounge. I love being at Wilderness Lodge. There's a lot of wonderful Easter eggs throughout all of Territory Lounge and the decor. California Grill Lounge, I mean, it's great. And I think if you can get up there, it's awesome.
It's amazing.
But it's just, I don't know. I got to go Territory.
Okay.
Lucy is the tiebreaker on this one.
Well, this is difficult because I have not technically been to either of them. I've been to California Grill. I have not been to the lounge. And I've not been to Territory Lounge.
Okay. We got to take you there.
Well, Caleb is obsessed with Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
I think we've only been like once or twice and he's obsessed with it. So I'm sure we'll probably go there soon. And I know Territory Lounge expanded their menu recently and they've got some things that I'm very intrigued to try. But based purely on the fact that I have zero experience, I think I'm going to go with California Grill Lounge.
Okay. That's fair. All right. The ladies take the victory on that one. All right. Next up, we're going Caribbean Beach Resort, number 3, Banana Cabana. So much more than a pool bar. Verse number 6. This is a tough one. Ale & Compass Lounge.
Oh, that's not tough.
Which we are very, very fond of. That's not tough for you? Banana Cabana versus Ale & Compass Lounge? Okay. Which way is it not tough? Which are you picking?
Banana Cabana.
Banana Cabana?
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with Banana Cabana. One, JoJo there is amazing.
Correct. Yes.
Drinks are amazing. Food is outstanding.
Yes.
My favorite wings on property. And you can pair that up very easily with going right on over to Bar Riva. So
Yeah.
I will say Banana Cabana, but I do love Ale & Compass Lounge. It just has, I don't know, you feel like you're on a cruise ship at Ale & Compass Lounge. That's not like a knock at it. It's just a very different atmosphere than being in what feels like the Caribbean poolside, hearing steel drums and all get played. So Lucy, what would you select? Banana Cabana or Ale & Compass?
I would pick Banana Cabana. I love the atmosphere. I love Caribbean Beach Resort, especially now that the kind of lobby renovations are done and they're starting to renovate the rooms. I like the aesthetic of it a lot. And I have been to Ale & Compass Lounge, but it is always slammed. And I don't know that we have ever actually been able to sit there. Yeah. We've gotten drinks and walked up and we've gotten food walking up, but we usually have to go sit in the lobby. Yeah. So
yeah, you got to rope drop it. I mean, honestly, you really do. You have to get there super early. They do have some wonderful food though. The burger's great. We love the Parker House rolls with the different jams and spreads on the side. They had good wings as well that were off menu, but were brought to me for my birthday. Couple years ago, remember?
Yeah, and then unfortunately, a really long time ago,
they're buffalo cauliflower
steel drums.
No, Banana Cabana. We were at Ale and Compass for that one.
Oh, my bad.
But yes, they have had the steel drum live outside of Banana
Yeah.
Cabana, which just adds such a great atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. Ellen Cup is your birthday. And
Yeah, that was fun. All right, next up, we got a great 4-5 matchup. Number 4, Tambu Lounge versus number 5, Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. Which are you
Oh,
thinking?
my gosh.
Are the noodles going to persuade you in the pot stickers over at
Yeah.
Tambu? Because I know you love that.
Yeah.
So you're picking Tambu. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
I am going to go with Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar.
I know. That's a great pick.
They have a constantly evolving menu based on the holiday
They
season.
do. And the
often.
food's so good. And they're
Yeah.
like that charcuterie. Holy
Oh, that pretzel.
crow.
They've got little ice balls that are actually being made there, as was proven to us one evening.
Jeremy did not believe it.
I did not believe
thought
it.
it was fake.
We were there with y'all, and so we've got a split, Lucy. So it comes down to you, Tambu Lounge versus Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar.
Caleb's gonna be so upset with me, but I'm gonna pick Jock Lindsay's.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Because Tambu?
Yes, he loves Tambu Lounge.
Yeah.
And I do too. I love Tambu Lounge. We love John and Walter are the bartenders at Tambu Lounge that have worked there forever, and they're great. But yeah, Jock Lindsay's is always changing.
Yeah.
They're always adding new stuff. They do great stuff for the holidays. I love Jock Lindsay's holiday bar when they do the takeover for Christmas. And the service there is always excellent.
Yeah.
So go with Jock Lindsay's.
Jamie, who we had met last couple of visits.
Yes,
Jamie
yes.
over at Jock Lindsay's is outstanding. All right. Down to our final regional here before we move on to round 2. We have Port Orleans is getting a ton of love. The 4th overall number 1 seed, I should say, is River Roost Lounge versus number 8, Martha's Vineyard Lounge, which I will say, actually, Martha's Vineyard Lounge, I believe, is the only one we have not been to on this list.
Where's that?
Over in Beach Club.
Beach Club.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say River Roost. Just, we love it there. I love their...
Yeehaw Bob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'd
we're
say
both
that
picking
too.
River Roost?
Because I haven't been there either. I feel like I can't pick the other one.
No, I agree. I mean, again, not having been there is
Yeah.
hard, but I do
Lucy,
love River Roost.
Have you been to the other one?
I haven't been to River Roost.
Oh, really?
When Yeehaw Bob is there, I went the day that the last and only time we've stayed there.
Okay.
We went and got a drink when we first checked in, but it was early enough in the day that there wasn't any live music or anything.
Right.
And it was fun. So I would probably pick River Roost. We have been to Martha's Vineyard,
Okay.
but it was early in the day before the actual bar was open. So we just kind of sat and charged our phones, and it's a nice little lounge area. It's a good little respite from the heat when you're outside. So
Okay.
you
I
get
can't
out.
even picture where it is.
I can't either.
Is it right there? It's on the other side of Cape May, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I think that's where they do they'll do during the day sometimes, like the you can pay for doing like the paintings and things like that. I think they do some of those classes there, I believe, at Martha's Vineyard. So we can check it out in July when we go stay at Beach Club.
Oh.
Rhonda's first stay at Beach Club.
Woohoo!
And my first stay that is more than 6 hours sleeping on a pull-out couch. So that is exciting. All right, let's move on. Our favorite resort is also getting a lot of love. Number 4, Three Bridges Bar and Grill versus number 5, Choza de Margarita over at Epcot. That is
Three Bridges.
that is the bar outside of the Pyramid.
Yeah.
It does serve some delicious tacos.
It
and
does.
drinks.
And the line is super long all the
the time.
time.
But you're going Three Bridges. I'm obviously going Three Bridges.
Lucy, it's right across from.
Yeah, no, I know where it is.
Oh.
I'm just kind of surprised that they're calling that a bar and lounge, because to me it's like a kiosk.
Yeah.
You can't sit.
No, you can't sit.
So I don't know how it's a bar and lounge. You can't
Yeah.
sit.
I think it's considered a combination of food. I think maybe it's a combination of having food and drink.
It
even though
does
is a
have
walk-up.
amazing drinks. It does have amazing food.
Yeah.
But it's not like, I mean, okay, sure, you can sit around the stone, like if there's,
Right.
if you're first,
They
if you
technically
rope
do have
drop
stone
it,
seating.
They
There is
do.
built-in stone seating, though it's not
but not
ideal.
at the bar.
Right. Correct.
Like
No.
whereas Three Bridges, you have an entire bar that has seating, and then you have an entire lounge. And when I say lounge, you have a 4-top table, or you have literally like a couch area. So
Yeah. I mean, I think Three
Three-
Bridges is a clear cut
Yeah.
winner
Yep.
there. All right, moving on to number 3, Brown Derby Lounge. And I believe now Port Orleans, as an entire sister hotel franchise, has the most listed bars and lounges, is number 6, Mardi Gras. That is just outside of the pool area over at French Quarter, but it is kind of separated, and so it makes the list. Rhonda, Brown Derby Lounge or Mardi Gras?
Brown Derby.
I will also vote Brown Derby, but I have wonderful memories from Mardi Gras. That is where we got some pre-concert drinks when we were going to see 21 Pilots in that October of 2015, I believe it was, that we fell in love with Disney resorts and decided to become Disney annual pass holders.
I remember what I was wearing, literally.
Yeah.
Well, from pictures. But still, I completely agree. But yeah, I have to go with the other.
Well, we love Brown Derby Lounge, though.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people watching
And
spots.
the food.
The food's outstanding.
Food is so good. You can get everything from Brown Derby. That's what's amazing.
Which would you select, Lucy?
I would pick Brown Derby Lounge, but I will say the weather's got to be like
Ideal.
Can't be too hot, can't be too cold.
No.
But yeah, it is beautiful and it's a great spot to watch.
Yeah. Really good flights.
Yep.
With the martini flight, the margarita flight. I was not a martini flight guy, I'll tell you that much. All right. Next up, we'll go ahead and mark down. This is going to be interesting, I think, but we're going to mark down Lucy's vote first, and then I'm going to vote, and Rhonda's going to tie break. I can already foresee it.
What?
Number 2, Rosencrown versus number 7, Crockett's Tavern over at Fort Wilderness. Lucy selecting Rosencrown.
Obviously.
You're
gonna have
not?
fun, and I'm going to pick Crockett's Tavern because of the absolute memories, the walk-up window, the very limited seating, the food.
The kids at the bar.
Yeah,
when
the
we
kids
learned
at the bar. Rebecca, who ended up over at Bar Riva, that we first encountered at Crockett's Tavern. I love Fort Wilderness so very, very much. Some of my favorite Walt Disney World memories. But it doesn't matter what I think, because it all comes down to Rhonda, who has to select between Rosencrown and Crockett's Tavern. Oh, you're giving it some thought.
Rhonda,
I'm
come
very
on.
surprised.
I am, but I'm not.
Okay. What are you picking?
Rose and Crown. You've got
Okay.
Holly. You've got Charlotte. You've got so many memories with Lucy and Caleb and so many people. And then you have a problem. When my children
goodness.
are walking through Epcot and go, oh, we have to stop it here, don't we? Because we were passing Rose and Crown, because that is where Jeremy would stop every single time we were there.
For a snake bite.
And then when we would be with my parents and we don't drink with my parents, we'd be like, nope, not today. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
Why is Dad not stopping?
I mean, I think
I'm shocked you didn't pick that. I understand the fun. And listen, it was amazing. It was the first time I learned that children are allowed to sit at a bar in Disney World. And it was sad because there's literally like 8. Am I exaggerating?
At Crockett's Tavern.
Yes, at
Yeah.
Crockett's Tavern. Am I
You gotta switch
exaggerating?
over which place
Sorry.
you're talking about.
Am I exaggerating when I say 8 seats?
I think you are, because I think it's 6. So you are exaggerating.
So there's 6 seats, and there was 2 children sitting at the bar. And Jeremy and I couldn't sit. There was 2 of us. And when we finally were able to sit, and Rebecca might have been the one we talked to,
Maybe.
we kindly asked the cast member, like, I don't understand this. Like, this, they are children. They can't drink. Like, we are literally ordering drinks. And then she explained to us that in Disney, children are allowed
I believe
to
that's
sit
a
at
Florida
bar.
law, though.
And I think it is Florida.
Yeah.
I think
it's not
it is
Disney
Florida.
in general.
But this is where I first learned. And I've been in Florida for 43 years.
That's true.
So,
No, I mean, I do think that Rose and Crown is a clear-cut winner, but I think accessibility is what greatly hinders Crockett's Tavern. It is not
That's
easy to get to. Most people have not been there. I think most people don't get to enjoy the loveliness that it is. I mean, you could go to the walk-up
is
window
amazing.
and get a drink and then go sit in rocking chairs and overlook the lake. And
well,
like,
lots has changed over there.
It has over there.
There
but-
was some
all right,
food
we're moving.
trucks. Okay,
We are moving
we're
on
moving
to
on.
round 2. We now have number 1 Baseline Tap House versus number 5 Tuta Gusto. Which are you selecting, Rhonda?
Marco or Mike. This is a tough
Marco
call.
versus Mike.
Wow.
Wow. Both outstanding. I mean, I'll
Tudo Gusto. Only because of the food. That's the only reason why it's winning out.
What would you say, Lucy? Am I going to be a tiebreaker this time?
Yeah, because I would pick baseline.
You would pick baseline.
I like Tudo Gusto, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because it's not Disney owned, right?
Right. Correct. It's third
Owned
party.
by it's third party. I want to say I got an Aperol Spritz the last time we went in there, and it was like $17.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And it was really good, but like, whoa.
Man, that's a really tough one for me. I think if you look at atmosphere, Tudo wins. Food, Tudo wins. But baseline is so super accessible. I mean, it's our rope drop. It's our start of the day. We go in. We just saw Mike last weekend over at Baseline. As much as I want to pick Tudo Gusto, I think Baseline is the correct decision to move on.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Not
that's what
mad
I
at that.
It's like, well, I can't really. All right, next up, another interesting matchup, especially when it comes to theming. We have our number 3 Abracadabra versus number 7 Oga's Cantina.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a real tough matchup, I think.
Abracadabra.
I'm going to say Abracadabra, just based on the fact that the only reason you're going, the drinks are good at Oga's, but they're all pre-mixed.
It's harder to get into.
The atmosphere you can't beat. I mean, you absolutely cannot beat the atmosphere. But Abracadabra, again, where do you want to end your night? Like, at least it's a place you can hang out. There's not a limit. There's not like, and the prices at Oga's are just absolutely insane. You can't get substantial food. You get your Batu bits and whatever else they have there now. And as inventive as the drinks are and the souvenir cups and stuff are, they're pre-mixed. And there's not a lot of...
That's why I said Abracadabra.
There's not a lot of thought beyond, yeah.
Like,
so,
we really don't need to talk about
Abracadabra.
Just kidding.
All right, well, I still like to have my reasoning. Lucy?
Yeah, I would pick Abracadabra too. And I do love Oga's, but I will say, and I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing it, but having gone to Galaxy's Edge and Disneyland and how much easier it is to get into Oga's there.
Okay.
Our Oga's, I still enjoy, and I will say it's hard to beat closing out your night at Oga's after the park is closed.
Oh, yeah.
And then leaving Hollywood Studios when it's empty.
Yeah.
That's pretty special. If you have a chance to do that, absolutely do it. But yeah, I love Abracadabra.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our biggest upset, Space 220 Lounge, which was the number 8 seed, versus number 4, Dahlia Lounge. Rhonda.
Dahlia.
You're going Dahlia. Okay. I'm
going
to have to say Space 220.
Oh.
I think it's the Cinderella team, the atmosphere, the inventiveness of not only the food, but the drinks. I just don't think there's another experience like it. I mean, same thing. You put Space 220 up against Oga's or something, like Space 220's winning for me. So that leaves a tiebreaker to Lucy.
It does.
Is that an easy pick or a tough
one?
Dun,
dun.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I think that's a hard one. I think I'd probably pick Space 220.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Cinderella team. George Mason, or I should say this year.
I'm not mad at that either.
Florida Atlantic University coming
I don't
through.
even know
FAU.
what that means.
Well, remind me to tell you after about Florida Atlantic in a cast member friend. Because I'm not trying to put people's business all over the place.
No,
all right, so Space is moving on. Just put a pin in it. Put a pin in it for
shouldn't
later.
back that out.
No, it's fine. All right, next up is number 3, Trader Sam's Grog Grotto versus number 2, the loved by all Bar Riva.
Ooh.
This is gonna. I can tell you right now.
Okay, I know what I'm picking.
Okay, this is gonna get some. This
Bar
is gonna
Riva.
get some feedback.
I'm picking Bar Riva because of the outside. Sam's, when you go inside, I feel like you're like, oh, it's dark in here. And even if it's...
Why did you just turn into Dracula?
I don't know. But you're like literally, like if it's beautiful and bright outside and you go inside, it's like, I'm dark and I'm stormy and scary.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Sorry. That's why I'm picking it. That's the difference. Like literally the food, everything. I feel like everything's the atmospheres or.
Yeah. Y'all going to learn about Bar Riva, and I'm afraid of it. I think it's starting to slightly catch on, and I don't like that as much as I love it for
Then
Bar Riva.
Pick the other one then.
Again, I'll shout out to our friend Justin Monorail, who just experienced Bar Riva for the very first time recently.
Which Justin? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, first time. I'm getting to join him on the Pass Holder Lounge next week. We're going to talk about Skyliner bar crawls. Now that he's experienced Bar Riva,
Lord.
that is a tough one because I don't think you can beat the atmosphere and how exclusive it feels to get inside Trader Sam's.
That's hard to get into too.
Huh?
That's like Oga's where it's hard
Right.
to get into.
That's what I
like
just said.
Bar Riva.
Yeah, how exclusive it is to try and get into it.
My bad.
What's your pick, Lucy? I can't make one.
I'd pick Trader Sam's.
You pick Trader Sam's? Oh, shoot.
and-
Why did I not go first?
I would pick Trader Sam's, and here's why. And this is me. Everyone out there, I'm making a pick for the good of the group because I am trying to set aside personal relationships with cast members because I feel like that's an unfair advantage.
You know what? That's a really good point. And I'm going to
See, and
agree
we-
with you. I'm going to agree with you with Trader Sam's.
If we're looking at space, theming, food, drinks, like service, fine, we can look at it as like an overarching umbrella, but you take like the fact that these people have become our friends out of it.
Yeah.
I think you have to pick Trader Sam's.
I will agree with you on that one. I mean, there again, there's nothing like it. I think if you literally had to, for most people, I think if you went and said, name your top 5 bars and lounges on property, like Trader Sam's is showing up in most people's top 5, as long as they've been there.
I was going to say, if they've been,
it's hard to get in, but there really is absolutely nothing like it. So Trader Sam is going to move on. I love you, Bar Riva. We will see you very, very soon. We won't see Trader Sam's real soon because it's impossible to get into. But maybe we'll try. Maybe we can try prior to Narcoossee's dinner. Maybe we go ahead and get there when Trader Sam's opens on our anniversary and see if we can do that first before we hop over to Narcoossee's. All right, we're moving on next to number 1, Scat Cats Club versus number 2, California Grill Lounge. Rhonda?
California Grill Lounge.
Okay, are you looking at a photo right now where you can see the castle? Good work.
We sat right there, and there's...
You're right. You do just turn your seat around.
Yeah.
I think I didn't realize that because I was so busy questioning life and why I ordered a potato pizza. So maybe I didn't realize it. But so you're picking California Grill Lounge.
You have the large stitch.
Oh, she got the big, what is their munchlings? Rhonda's got the baby one.
I have a baby.
Rhonda's got the baby. Does yours still smell?
Yeah.
Does everybody still smell? It's a
Mhm.
weird place to smell it, Rhonda. All right, so you pick California Grill Lounge. I'm picking Scat Cats Club. I think
Lucy, you are
if you're gonna experience California Grill in general, get a dining reservation. I think. I mean the lounge
so
is cool.
hard. No,
I know it is, but you know who you could use, Rhonda? You could use mousedining.com.
Okay.
So
And if you want to stay there, you can use mainstreetmagictravel.com.
That's a great point. I'm picking Scat Cats. So you are the tiebreaker.
All right, tiebreaker, Miss Lucy.
That's a really hard one.
It is.
Because I was about to say, Scat Cats has such great entertainment, but like you can hear the fireworks music inside.
I know. If you time it right, you got to time it right.
And that's a really good point because if you're not, then you're not gonna make it necessarily. Yeah, I would probably go with Scat Cats.
Yeah.
I think Scat Cats is highly underrated. I
do
really
too.
do. I think more people should take the time to go over there and check that spot out.
And it just feels like this hidden gem kind of speakeasy. Like it's tucked away in a sense. Like a lot of people I don't think realize. And you don't and you kind of see the entrance and you're like, oh, what's this little place? And then you walk in and you're like, whoa, this is actually huge. And there's a full live jazz band. Like this is pretty amazing. So going with that one. All right, next up is number 3, Banana Cabana versus number 5, Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. These are starting to get unfair.
Banana Cabana.
That's who you're picking, Banana Cabana?
Mm-hmm.
I got to go Jock Lindsay's from everything we said before, especially the fact that you can go seasonal and get different. Not only is the food outstanding year round, seasonally, drinks, food, atmosphere, everything. If you sit out in that little boat that's kind of overhanging the water,
that is fun.
Is absolutely beautiful.
It's fun. It's even fun when it's pouring, storming.
That was unbelievable.
That was amazing.
That was
a monsoon.
That was a monsoon.
That was insane.
It was amazing
that night.
It was.
Yeah.
All right, Luce.
You are the tiebreaker. Banana Cabana, Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar, JoJo versus Jamie.
I'm not.
Like now we're just pitting up cast members against each other.
And I won't be mad at it.
Yeah, I know. I think this is a win-win.
I'm going to go with Jock Lindsay's.
Yes.
I thought she would.
All right.
And part of the reason I will say shout out to Jock Lindsay's, they carry St. Augustine Distillery vodka and gin there.
Very cool.
Which they might be the only places on Disney property that do. And I love to represent the hometown. So
heck yeah.
Love it. Love it.
We're moving to our last regional here, and it is number 1, River Roost versus number 4, Three Bridges.
Three Bridges.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know my vote.
Yep, Three Bridges.
Three Bridges. That's, yeah. I mean, again, you know, when you add in the Yeehaw Bob moments, I think River Roost really goes up there,
That's
but I'm
fun.
looking at it as a grander picture.
Oh, yeah.
And that's even taking cast member friends aside, like not counting them. I just think Three Bridges overall, again, talk about an evolving menu. It is changing, I feel like, once a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's always just new things are happening. It still feels like that little mom and pop kind of bar and grill. All right. Number 3, Brown Derby Lounge versus number 2, Rose and Crown.
Oh,
I feel a sweep.
Rose and Crown.
Rose and Crown. Rose and Crown.
Ooh,
all right.
sweet.
Look at that. That is, they don't have a lot of those. All right. We are heading down to select our final 4 in our bars and lounges bracket challenge. We have number 1, Baseline Tap House versus number 3, Abracadabar.
Baseline.
Abracadabar.
Oh,
Yeah. Atmosphere. Like,
wait,
yeah.
what did Lucy say?
Agreed,
I
right?
said Abracadabra.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
I think when you come down to food, you come down to how
I'm sorry, Mike.
incredible. I mean, Lucy's favorite drink on property.
That is a good drink.
All right,
Okay, fine. I'm not mad at it.
All right. That's good. All right. A 3 seed moves on. Next up, number 8, our big Cinderella team, Space 220 Lounge versus number 3, Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. That is quite a matchup.
It is.
That really is. I mean, from theming alone.
What do you say, babe?
For me, oh God, I'm gonna go Space 220 Lounge. I just don't think there's anything like it. I really don't. Where are you leaning? Because I think I know, Lucy. Do we want Lucy to go and you're the tiebreaker potentially, or would she be tiebreaking?
Ooh, go ahead,
Okay.
Luce.
Yeah, I would pick Trader Sam's.
Okay. So now it's all on you, Ron. It's all on your shoulders.
Ooh, because I was thinking.
Do you crush the number 8 seed, the Cinderella that has made its way past juggernauts like Nomad Lounge, Dahlia Lounge?
I'm gonna go with Luce.
You go with Trader Sam's? Again, not mad at it.
No,
at
because
all.
like you have either space, which is super cool, or you have like the tropics, and I'm picking tropics.
Okay. I think it's a wonderful pick. I think
Because
most people would
everything
make
I
that
feel
pick.
like can be the same. Like the food, the drinks, everything can be, but you're pinning up against, to me, you're pinning up, all right, what better atmosphere?
Okay. No, I
And
don't disagree. I mean, most people are still salty probably that Space 220 beat Nomad Lounge as they're listening, so maybe this will make them a little bit happier.
Some people turned us off.
Oh, for sure. No, let's just pretend that Nomad Lounge had made it all this way. Would Trader Sam's had beaten Nomad Lounge for you anyway, Lucy?
Yes.
I agree. I think so
Yeah.
too. So it really doesn't matter in the end. So don't get mad, people. All right, number 1, Scat Cats Club versus number 5, Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar.
Oh, Jock Lindsay's.
I'm going Jock Lindsay's. Oh, look at that. All right.
Well, that's a sweep.
All right, another
call
number
it.
1 seed goes down. Currently, no number 1 seeds will make it into the final 4 because we are moving on to number 4, Three Bridges versus number 2, Rose and Crown. You know my vote. It's Three Bridges.
I pick Rose and Crowns around a
Rhonda, it's all on you. I thank you for throwing that out there and throwing Rhonda completely under the bus. This is outstanding. I'm not going to say anymore. It is up to you, Rhonda.
I will say a game changer at Rose and Crown, I feel like, and if you haven't been in a while, people who are listening, you might not know this, is now up until 4:00, the restaurant is open for open seating. if you get
Oh,
drink at the bar. And Carol is back playing the piano.
yes.
So she's back in the restaurant. So if you get a drink, you can go and you can sit back in the restaurant, tables, chairs, all of that, all the way back and around. And they have live entertainment back there up until 4:00 when they start seating for dinner.
Interesting.
But
But you
people-
cannot get food,
but you
correct?
can't-
Or
no,
still
you
can
can get
from
food.
You can now.
You can
now
get the fish
back.
and chips.
Ooh.
That is why I am going to go ahead and side with Lucy and pick Rosencrown.
That's fair. That is wonderful information. I did not know that. And I
We
would like
ate-
to take
we
advantage
ate-
of that.
we
But
ate
didn't
it
go sit, though.
at the bar. We got
Right.
food. Like, I think the most last recent time with Lucy and Caleb, because we were hungry and we were getting drinks
Right.
and they were back from after COVID. And yeah, we were allowed to stand there, drink, and then we got food and it was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. But I did not
So-
realize you could go into the seated
I
area.
I don't think I knew that
Yeah.
either.
So that's
but
a
I
great
knew
tip.
you could get the food and that fish and chips. I'm
It's
sorry, it
so good.
outbeats it. I love. Don't get me wrong. I love Three Bridges, but that fish and chips beats out anything that Three Bridges has.
Okay, that's a whole other program. All right, I'll just name real quick our final four, and then we'll pit them up against each other. We have number 3, Abracadabra. We have the number 3, Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. Number 5, Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar, which I think really came out of nowhere. Congratulations. And our number 2, Rose and Crown Pub. So, first, heading into the championship game is number 3, Abracadabra versus number 2, Rose and Crown. Rhonda?
I'm gonna say Rose and Crown.
I'm gonna say Rose and Crown.
Oh,
I'm glad that you both picked Rose and Crown because that's like Sophie's choice for me.
Yeah, I know. I know that's a tough matchup.
what would you have picked if you had to?
If
Because-
I had to, I would pick Rose and Crown.
Oh, so a
Okay.
sweep.
Rose and Crown is my happy place.
It is.
I love it. It's like a neighborhood bar for me at this point. I love it, but I
Yes.
do love Abracadabra.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That's I mean, you know, I would not have guessed from the beginning that Rose and Crown was coming out of that side. It doesn't
didn't either.
surprise me. But I think it's a wonderful, wonderful pick. We're going to go to our next Final Four matchup, which is the number 3 Trader Sam's Grog Grotto versus number 5 Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar. I mean, that is a Final Four matchup if I've ever seen one. Like that's like Duke UNC last year in the Final Four.
And
Rhonda,
what's your Duke?
Trader Sam's or Jock Lindsay's?
I'm gonna say Trader Sam's.
I'm going to say Jock Lindsay's.
Oh,
I absolutely
Lucy!
love
do
it
that to
there.
me.
I know. I absolutely love it there. I think it has every possible thing going for it. And again, the tiebreaker for me is accessibility. Not only location, but being able to actually get in based on the hours of the day that it operates. I mean, you know, Trader Sam's is the frickin', you know, Cosmic Rewind virtual queue. It's the Tron virtual, you know what I mean? It's one of those where if before your vacation you
true.
go, I want to go to Trader Sam's. Somebody's going to go, you might not be able to. But you can go to Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar and you can enjoy it for all its glory. Lucy is the tiebreaker. Oh, this is fun.
This is a really hard
It's
one.
a tough one. It's
'Cause
really
I
hard.
think- I think Trader Sam's biggest like deficit is also one of its biggest strengths.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's difficult to get into is also one of the things that makes it awesome.
I know.
And I like how small it is and it's never crowded because they only let in enough people as can fit. So you don't ever have to worry about being packed in, which is really nice
Yep.
and
It's true.
a luxury at Walt Disney World. It's one of the things I don't like about Tambu Lounge, which I love, is that there is no limit. So it's always like you're squished in.
Right.
And Trader Sam's has the shrinking stools. That was the story I was going to tell earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
Tell that.
very first time that the stools shrank, if you don't know this,
Wait,
the
what?
bar, there are certain bar stools, and they're not just at the bar; they're at the big table in the middle too. That the bartenders have control over, and they shrink.
I didn't know that.
Shut up.
So the first time Caleb and I were there, we were sitting at the bar, like the actual bar, and we're talking and whatever. And I kind of at one point I was like, and I mean he's taller than me by several inches, and at one point we were like eye level. I was like, what is happening? And he just kept getting shorter and shorter and
amazing.
shorter and shorter.
That's it.
Until I was like looking down at him because his stool had sunk so far. And the bartender was like, "Hey man, you feeling down?"
Oh, okay.
And then
That's
he gets up and they like raise the stool. And then the next time we went back with my parents, we were sitting at the table in the middle and it happened to me. And I was telling them about it and I didn't realize it wasn't just at the bar.
That's
so they were
awesome.
like, all of a sudden I'm the one that's like, "Hey guys."
That's
I didn't know that.
funny.
So
I didn't
that
either.
added with the show and with the drinks and with all of it, I think I'm gonna pick Trader Sam's.
Oh,
Not mad at you. That's an incredible
Yeah.
story. I love that.
That's super cool. I love that. I now want to go. When are we going? When did you say?
We can try for our anniversary on April 22nd.
We have to be there at
We've
like
got
3:30.
Yeah.
To stand in line.
Yep, and we can do that. And you can get on the
It's
standby
ridiculous.
list, and they'll text you and all. And we can hang out somewhere else, because we are having dinner at 6:45 at Narcoossee's. So I would love to try and get back there and see if we can check it out. This is it, ladies. We are down to the championship matchup of number 2 Rose and Crown Pub over there at Epcot in the United Kingdom Pavilion versus our number 3 Trader Sam's Grog Grotto inside of Polynesian Village Resort. I'll go right off the bat and say Trader Sam's. I mean, Lucy has just sold me on everything about it. You're right. Atmosphere, it being its biggest weakness is also its greatest strength with being so hard to get into. We have not actually eaten any food there, but the menu looks very good. The drinks are outstanding. I love the ability to get souvenir
Lucy's
mugs.
My sister-in-law's about to be so mad at me.
You are not picking Trader Sam's, or you
Nope.
are picking Trader
Rose
Sam's?
and
You're picking
Crown.
Rose and Crown. So
You.
I'm actually not going to be mad at you at all, but my brother's going to be mad at me because I'm going to pick Rose and Crown.
oh my
Oh!
goodness! Look,
I
at
love me
that.
some Trader Sam's, but when I think Disney World Bar and Lounge, like if somebody asked me and I had no time to think, I pick Rose and Crown every time.
That's fair.
Not even close.
Very,
That is
very
my
fair.
favorite bar on property, bar none.
Yeah. Straight up, if I had given you this ahead of time, you obviously, I mean, I know Ron and I threw some things into the mix by having additional picks, and some things maybe didn't make it that you thought, but do you believe that you would have taken Rose and Crown all the way through if this was only your selection, if you were only doing
Oh
this
wait,
bracket?
Rose and Crown just won the whole thing.
Yeah,
won the whole
I think
thing?
so.
Okay.
Well,
Who do
because like I said, even without a bracket, if somebody had just said to
Yeah.
me, "What's your favorite bar at Disney World?" I
Boom.
would say Rose and Crown.
just like that. Who do you think you would have had if somebody just came up to you and said, "What is your favorite
Three
bar on
Bridges.
property?" You would have said Three Bridges.
Well, I mean, okay.
I think I actually, at this point in my
Yeah,
life, would say Bar Riva.
Caleb would say Bar Riva.
Yeah.
It's hard because I say Three Bridges, but then like if somebody was like, "All right, what's your favorite bar that you probably go to in a park?"
Yeah.
I would either have said probably Baseline or Rose and Crown. I mean,
But
there's
Bar Riva is so accessible from 2 of the parks.
or
Same with Banana
Dawa.
Dawa.
Which, I
good
mean,
one.
there's no food there, but still, Dawa's a great one. But yeah, if you were like, what's the most accessible? And I'm like, are you going to parks? You know, or.
But we're not talking that. Top of your head. Best bar on property.
Okay.
No,
that's
not
what
best. I don't even know if it would be. I'm not saying best necessarily.
Right.
Your favorite.
Or what-
That's what I meant.
My favorite is
Yes.
Rose and Crown.
That's what I
Right.
meant to say. Your
Right.
favorite bar
and
on property.
I feel like it's either between if you were like favorite bar on property, and I'm like, okay, I've got 2. One is at a resort, Three Bridges, and the other one is in Epcot at Rose and Crown.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
Caleb
Or
said when we
Baseline.
first started, and he never had seen the bracket. I just texted him what we were doing. He said his final 4, if he had to guess, would have been Bar Riva, Rose and Crown, Tambu Lounge, and Baseline.
Those are 4 excellent picks based
So
on
it
just
would
coming off the top of
Wow.
your head.
If it had worked out the way we had initially talked about, Jeremy, and you had just moderated, and it had been Caleb, Rhonda, and I picking, I think it might have gone a little differently.
A little
Yeah.
bit. Little bit.
That's funny.
Well, we can always
Did you
bring
tell
that
him
back
that
next
Rose
year.
and Crown won?
The
Yeah, I did.
champions. We need to make them a trophy and take it to them next time, to Charlotte and Holly. We'll make them a little something, right?
I love Charlotte and Holly.
They're the
best
They
ever.
are.
And then what's his name? Gavin is so cool too.
Everybody there is wonderful.
Seriously, that's where I think it just is won over. And then when Lucy told me, and I remember because she ordered and I was like, oh my God, I can eat the fish and chips right now at the bar because this was after COVID and we could stand and drink and not have to like move on. And it was amazing. And they brought back the tables. And then, as Lucy said, you can go around and sit. I
think they also have arguably the best AC at Epcot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. If you want to get out.
It's always freezing in there, even when it's not very hot outside.
100%.
And put in a plug for if you have not gotten it. And I don't know if they have the full menu right now or if you can only order the fish and chips to eat. But if they bring back or if they have the full menu right now, the sausage roll is the dark horse.
Ooh.
It is
I've seen that. I've seen somebody get that before.
It's like a pork sausage. It's got chunks of apple in it, and then it's wrapped in puff pastry and served with French fries, and it's delicious.
That sounds outstanding. Well, I mean, yeah, I think that is a clear-cut winner. I'll be very interested to see what other people select. Again, I put this out on Twitter. I'll put it out again. Would love for people to download this or print it, fill it out, do whatever they need to. Let us know who your winner is. Congratulations, Rose and Crown Pub. You are the 2023 Main Street Magic Bars and Lounges champion. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you, Lucy.
So much for joining us. This would have been awful if we were just flipping coins because this was so much fun.
This added so much more. I love this with your stories and just I've missed you. It's been a little while since I've gotten to see and been Disney part of you. I've seen you, but still, like I've missed this. I can't wait to.
We'll all be back soon.
See you in Disney again.
Especially as Caleb last night was sending me videos and photos from Jelly Rolls.
Oh yeah,
and I was just like, I hate you so much right now. When are we all going?
Did you say the bad word to him? Because Katie and his own wife did too.
I was very pleasant and nice to him in my text returns. well, yes, Jelly Rolls. Want to do Jelly Rolls. All right. We are going to wrap it up. Again, congratulations, Rose and Crown. Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you, Rhonda, for being here, even though you did not have a choice. But your votes were very well done. And if you have not done so already, everyone, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And not only myself, not only Rhonda, but Lucy would also be very thankful if you would leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.